Are Liverpool still title contenders? That's the question I asked myself immediately after Manchester City Liverpool game. Not necessarily because of the result of that particular game, because let's be honest, anybody who is going to play Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium should expect a very, very difficult game. In fact, if you win that game, exceptional. If you draw that game, excellent results. But everybody expects to go to Manchester City at the Etihad and lose. If you come out with a point at the Etihad, excellent results. So I'm not even judging Liverpool as a result of what happened at the Etihad Stadium against Manchester City. That's not why we're asking the question of if Liverpool are still title contenders. The conversation is about the whole spectrum from the beginning of the season until now, having played 11 games and lost 5 right now, or even 6. I think it's 5. That does not look like title form. They've conceded 17 goals so far and scored 18 goals. So they have a goal difference of +1. The question is that title winning form? The next few minutes, we're going to unpack that, going through all the data and all the things we've seen as patterns up until now. And so before we go right into it, please smash the like button to give this channel, this video some reach, and subscribe to the channel. So let's jump right into it. So 11 games played, Liverpool have managed to pick up 18 points out of a possible 33. Why did everybody assume automatically that they were going to be title, in fact, favorites, not just title contenders for this current 2025-26 season? Because last season they just won the title, spectacular fashion, with a lot of gap, between them and the second place Arsenal. And then they went into the transfer window and spent close to £500 million in transfer signing. They got wonderful signings like Alexander Isak, Ekitike, who is doing quite well, Florian Wirtz, obviously also Frimpong and Kekes, and they did really good in the transfer window. So you could see intent. I think they had the highest spend historically ever in the Premier League. So coming from a team that has just won the league, which means you have a title winning team, to spending that sort of money, the assumption is that these people mean business. And no doubt, it makes sense. I mean, you spend this much, you already have a title winning squad. Why not, of course? But then what happens next? They start selling a few players. They let go, Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich. Excellent player, even though I'm not sure they understood the full implication of that sale. And then, Trent Alexander-Arnold goes to Real Madrid. Unfortunately, also, they lost Diego Jota, core members of the last season's title-winning team. And so, but we thought, okay, they're replacing them with good players as well. We have Frimpong coming in to replace Arnold. Of course, we get Isak. Oh my God, what a signing! Isak, club record, in fact, Premier League record signing. You get Wirtz, powerful player. On paper, Bayern Leverkusen history, excellent. He's still not been able to blend in the Premier League, obviously, as we've seen over the last, in fact, more than 11 games now. Because Champions League, they've had a few blips here and there as well, and the League Cup. But they're looking at the full spectrum. The question we're trying to answer today is, are Liverpool still title contenders? Now, let's look back at some of the data from the previous season. Last season, they lost 3 games, I think, in the entire campaign. They lost 4 games in the entire campaign. And even one of those losses came after they had already secured the Premier League title. So the number of games they've lost already more games this season than they lost in the entire campaign last season when they last won the title. And if you look back at Manchester City, who have won the previous 4, they've never lost as many games as Liverpool have lost to secure each of those Premier League titles. So with the current trend, the question we're trying to answer, knowing what we know, and don't forget, this is still a Liverpool side that is very, very powerful. They have some of the best players in the world. You can argue that Isak is one of the best strikers in the world. You can argue that, Van Dijk is one of the best defenders in the world. You can argue that Alisson, even though I think he's still injured now, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. They also have very, world-class players like Mohamed Salah. They have, Florian Wirtz, who still hasn't, hit the ground running in the Premier League. But overall, Liverpool are a great A side. And you can see, even in the Champions League, they are still one of the favorites to win the Champions League, despite their current form. So yes, we are discussing the Premier League and if they can still be champions, but that does not remove the fact that the Champions League is still there and they have a chance. And I'm not even carried away by the current Champions League, table where, they are still not in the top, let's say 6 or 7 or 8. I don't even know where they are. They're probably somewhere around 7 or 8. But we know that PSG, who won the Champions League last season, had to even play the playoffs in January before they ended up, winning the Champions League. So I don't get carried away by the current table, even though it kind of gives an indication of the quality of the teams. Bayern Munich, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of PSG, at the top right now. Madrid and the likes of Barcelona and the rest of them. I'm not even sure Barcelona is in the top 8 right now, but these are the teams that are looking like they're favorites, right? But again, we will not discuss the Champions League because it's a totally different kettle of fish. It's the Champions League is almost like how you perform in your home games, away games, knockout games. You can be terrible in the group stages, get into the playoffs, get into the Champions League knockout rounds, and before you know it, you can even find yourself in the final. But the Premier League is different. You pick the points as you go, and every single point you drop adds up to hurt you at the end of the season. So now we have an Arsenal still leading the pack. They drop points against Sunderland. There's Manchester City, who are looking like they're picking up gear. Very much carried by Haaland, who is in form. My only concern with Manchester City, I think they have fantastic players. I think Manchester City, have one of the best squads. They have squad depth in every department. But the problem is that their form seems to be carried so much by Haaland, who is just one player. I'm not too sure if he'll remain in form from now to the end of the season or if he's going to stay fit the entire season. I feel like Arsenal has, more options in attack, more options in midfield and defense. I think for the most complete squad, in my opinion, is Arsenal. So that's why I think Arsenal is still going to be, for me, champions at the end of the season. But we're just discussing about being contenders first. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you think Liverpool are still title contenders with what we've seen. They was almost looking like they were going to come back to top form when they defeated Aston Villa in grand style and also defeated Real Madrid at home. But now, if you look at the full spectrum, we've seen, straight five losses in Premier League and I think 6 and 7 overall, which doesn't look very good for a team that really, really wants to win the Premier League this season. So for me, I still think they are in it because nothing is won or lost in November. Maybe they will string a run of form in the next couple of games. I think the next maybe 6, 7, 8 games they have are very winnable in my opinion, going into December or towards the end of December. But I don't think that'll be enough to still make them contenders. Arsenal will be playing the likes of Chelsea and Spurs next, and I think Man City are playing Newcastle United, away. So that could also, shift things in different directions. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I don't think I'm going to write them off personally, just because things change very quickly in the Premier League. You never know. I'm sure most people didn't expect us not to drop points against Sunderland, but it happened. So let me know your thoughts. Liverpool still in title race, and just let me know your thoughts. You can leave a comment about why you think they are still, title contenders. And don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.